Hello guys, welcome to my channel once again. Today I'm going to show you guys how to cut your trouser outfit. I'm going to show you how to cut and sew it also, like this one. So stay with me to this video. After watching the video, tell me how you feel in the comment section, because this method I'm going to show you guys is one of the simplest methods you can find on YouTube. I'm going to show you guys how to cut it and how to sew it in this video. So after watching the video, and if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification button so that you will notify when next I will upload a new video. So now I'm going to show you guys how to cut it, and don't forget to like and share the video to your friends. And if you have any question, tell me on the comment section and I will get back to you. So now let's start this video. Stay with me, don't go anywhere. Don't forget to ask questions if you have any question on the comment section. Now let's start this video. Okay, now this is the measurement we're going to use to cut this trouser. You can see here is the length. The length is 38. You can see the width is 32. The last is 23. The knee is 17. While the total amount is 13. So this is the measurement we're going to use. So stay with me, don't go anywhere. Okay, now the fabric, I fold the fabric into two, and the width of my fabric is by 60. The fabric, the width is by 60. Make sure that your own is by 60. Now I'm going to cut off the mouth. You can see this mouth here. I don't need this mouth. I'm going to cut it off. Please stay with me, don't go anywhere. Okay, now I'm going to start from the waist. First of all, I'm going to draw my waistline. I can see how I place the ruler. It's not straight. I place it horizontal, not that straight. After the waist, the rest now is the length line. The same thing, horizontal, not that straight. Now here is my length line. See how I draw it. Of course, I see what I'm doing. After watching the video, if you have any questions, feel free to ask on the comment section. Now, the next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to start from the length. My length is 38. With my measurement, here's 38. Now I'm going to add 3 inches for the folding allowance. You can see 38 plus 3. Now next thing is my nail. The formula is your length by 2 to get your nail. Your length by 2. My length is 38, by 2 is 19. I hit my nail. Very simple. You can use a ruler to draw the lines if your hand is not straight. Okay, now next thing now is my waist. My waist is 32. The formula is your waist by 4. My waist is 32 by 4 is 8. Then I'll place it here. You can see I measure 8 here. Here's my 8. Then plus 1 for the crochet line. After the measurement, we add 1 for the crochet line. Then from that one, I'm going to draw my crochet line like this. Here's my crochet line. Then this crochet I'm going to do is 7. It depends on the measurement that you are doing. You have 7 here. Now I'm going to add 2 from that 7. Then those lines should be 2. Each of those that 2 lines should be 2. Each of them. Then join it together. This clothes depends on the measurement that you have. Like if your waist is like 38, you're going to do it like 7.5 plus 2. Then if your waist is less than maybe 30, 20 something, you're going to do it like 6.5 plus 2. It depends on the measurement that you have. Then I'm going to curve it here. Here's my curve. Here's my crotch. Now let's say now is my knee. My knee is 17. The formula for the knee is your knee by 2. You have 8.5 for the knee. Remember, my knee is 17 by 2 is 8.5. Then here's my knee. I'm not going to add any allowance here. Then from that crochet line, I'm going to draw it to the nail. Next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to take my total mouth measurement, which is 13. The same thing, the formula is by 13 by 2. You're going to have 6.5. Then I'm going to draw it to the mouth from that nail to the mouth. You can see how I draw the line. You can see. Now I'm going to take the pocket. From here I'm going to measure 2 inch from the waist side, 2 inch here. Then I'm going to measure 7.5 inch for the length. For the pocket length is 7.5 inch. Then draw the line from that 2 inch to that 7.5 inch. Here's my pocket. Okay, now after that, nothing I'm going to do now, I'm going to add the curve here for the hip, because this is a male trouser, this is not a female trouser. I don't have that much hip, so I'm going to add a curve in here just like this for the hip. I start from the nail. You can see from that knee line is where I start, then draw it to the waist. You can see. And I'm going to cut it to the shape of my drawing. Don't shift your hand, just cut it exactly with the shape of your drawing. Use just a simple method to cut your trouser. Very simple. Okay, now I'm going to take a mark on that pocket from that 2 inch from the waist side and the length 7.5 inch, so that I will know where to gum it. Here's my front pattern. You can see how I take the mark. Okay, now I'm going to use this front pattern to cut the back pattern, so stay with me, don't go anywhere. I'm going to use this front pattern to cut the back pattern. Now the fabric, now I'm going to turn it like this so you guys can see it very well. And turn it upside down so you guys can see it very well. Turn it very well. And after that, I'm going to place the front button on top. Make sure that everywhere is last. Then place the front button on top like this. I see how I place it. I guess I've seen very well. Okay, now I'm going to draw a line from that last two line, the last line for the crotch. I'm going to draw a line like this, and the length should be like 3 inch. It's okay from the crotch line. Then from the waistline, I'm going to measure like 1.5 inch from that waist. You can see this one is the back. Now I'm going to draw a line from that 1.5 inch to that crotch line like this. You can see the line. Okay, now I'm going to draw a straight line from that 1.5 inch to the waist of my front pattern. Remember, my waistline of my front pattern is horizontal, while this one is straight. The back one is straight. You can see. Because I see it very, very well. Okay, now from the crotch, I'm going to measure like 2 inch for the crotch. From that crotch down, this is where I'm going to start to. I'm going to place my tape for the lafts. Just 2 inch from that crotch. Then my last is 23 by 2 is 11.5. Your last is 10 by 2 is 11.5. Then from the length line here, I'm going to measure like 11.5 here. Then take a mark here. Now I'm going to add allowance here after the last 1.5 inch allowance here, and also at the knee side. You can see. Remember, all the measurement is by 2, while the waist is by 4. The knee side is 1.5 inch also. Then the total mount is also 1.5 inch. The total side. Now I'm going to draw it from that crotch to the total mount. My ruler. You can see I added 1.5 inch at the back. The front side I did not add any allowance. I divide the waist by 4, while others is by 2. You can see the line. Now after that, I'm going to cut it with the shape of my drawing. First of all, the back crotch, I'm going to curve it here like this. I'm going to curve here also, like I did on the front crotch. Here's my front and back pattern. Now I'm going to cut it with the shape of my drawing. can see, very simple and neat. Okay, now after that, I'm going to fold the both pattern together to that crochet line of my front pattern with the front and back. I'm going to fold it. I'm going to fold it to this crochet line like this. Then I'm going to take my dart line for my back pocket. You can see the dart line for my back pocket. Okay, now I'm cutting the front and back pattern. You can see this one is now ready. The next thing I'm going to cut now is the properties, like the facing, the flap, the waist pocket, from those pieces here that I have here, like this one. I'm going to cut it from these pieces. Like this one, I'm going to use this one for the zip flap. You can see. I can see the covering. This covering is okay. Cover very well for the zip flap. Like the length should be like 10-inch length or 9-inch length. We'll measure the shape very well. Here's my zip flap. I see the length should be like 10-inch. It's okay. Cover very well. Okay, and after that, I'm going to cut off for the waist pocket. For this pieces, something like this. You can see. The length should be like 8-inch. It's okay. 8.5 to 8 inch is okay for the back. This one I need like 4 pieces. Here's 2 pieces. I'm going to cut another one. Then this one is for the facing, for the pocket facing. This is how it looks like the zip flap. But this one should be more bigger than the zip flap. I'm going to use one for the pocket facing. You can see. Now I'm going to complete the back waist pocket. Like I said before, I need like 4 pieces. I've cut like 2 pieces, and I'm going to complete it 4. You can see. Remember, they are folding to 2. There are 2, but 1 is 2. And I'm going to mark the back so that I will not come the front by mistake. All of them. Here is 4, and this one is 2 for the waist pocket, for the facing. You can see there are also 2. Where the flap also is 2. You can see. And here is my trouser. You can see. Here's the zip flap. Here's the facing. And here is the waist pocket. There are 4. Okay, the next I'm going to cut now is the waist. I'm also going to cut the waist from this piece here. The formula is your waist by 2 plus 10. Also for the waist, remember your waist by 2 plus 10. Any waist you have, just the same procedure. Like my waist is 32. By 2 is 16. And I'm going to mark 16 here. Then I'm going to add 10-inch. You can see. Use just the formula. Then cut it from that 10-inch. Then the width should be like 3 inch is okay for the width. 3 inch. Then I'm going to cut it from that 3 inch straight. Remember the width is 2. I mean the pieces. It is folded into 2. Like others, like my patterns. You can see. it is folded into two. You guys are seeing it. Then I'm going to cut it into two. I'm going to divide it. And here is the last cutting of this tutorial. Here's my waist. Also going to mark it chalk so that I will know the front and the back. And this is the last cutting of this tutorial. You can see here's my waist. I've gotten everything. Now this one, I'm going to use this one for the belt holder, these pieces. And here is the last cutting of this tutorial. Okay, now next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to weave the trouser. After weaving it, I'm going to comb it. Then after combing, now we can now move down to sewing. So stay with me, don't go anywhere. Let's sew together. Okay, now I finished gumming it. After cutting it, I finished gumming it. As you can see, I have my flap. You can see how I gummed it. See my flap here. You can see I gum one side of it. Now here is my facing. Here's my facing. And here's my waist pocket for the two pockets, my back waist pocket. You can see I fold one. You can see one is fold and one is not fold for the two of them. I have my front pattern. You can see how I gum it. Sorry, I did not show you guys the time I'm gumming it because there's no time. I don't want the video to take much long, that's why. I see here's my front pattern, and here's my back pattern. I did not gum the back pattern, it is not gummed. I see I just fold it from that mark. Remember, I took a mark on the back pattern for the fishing or the dart. Okay, now here's my waist. See how I got my waist. Okay, now let's start this video. Next thing I'm going to cut now is the pocketing. Here's my front pocket for the pocketing. The width is 14, it's okay, and the length is 13, it's okay. This one is for the front pocket. I see there are two for the two front pockets, and next thing is the back pocket, the pocketing. I see my length is 20. You can see my width is 9. So this is what I'm going to use to sew my trouser. So stay with me. Now I'm going to start from the front pocket. Just watch very carefully. Now I'm going to place it like this on the pocketing. You can see how I place that. Then stitch from the inside first. You can see. Then I'm going to take a mark on that pocketing also, like I did on the front pattern, so that it can fold. You can see. Now I'm going to tick on my pocket on the pattern like this, straight. Keep your hand straight. Okay, here it's open. I'm going to stitch it. I'm not going to leave it open like that. After that, next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to apply my facing. You can see here there are two facing for the left and right. Now I'm going to find the matching one. Here is the matching, no, this is not the matching one, and here's the matching one. I'm going to stitch it like this. I forgot that's what I'm doing. Now I'm going to fold the facing together, the pocket, like this. I'm going to fold it like this. I see. Now I'm going to stitch here. Just a little stitching. Then stop. On the waist side, I'm going to measure 2 inch on the waist side, like this. You can see 2 inch. Then I'm going to stitch the waist side straight and stop here. Now you can see my pocket is almost forming. You can see. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take a mark under like this, under the pocketing. You can see how I did that. Now fold it outside and turn it outside. Now I'm going to stitch from that mark like this. Just after watching the video, tell me how you feel. If you have any questions, ask on the comment section. Grab my hand, then shape it a little. Now I'm going to turn it back like this. I'm going to stitch again at the back side. Okay, now this my pocket is now done. I'm done with the pocket. You can see I've formed the pocket. Here is my front pocket. I'm going to form the other side also like this one. Here's my pocket. This one is now ready. Now I'm going to form the other side like I did on this one. The difference is that they are just left and right. You can see this one. I'm going to form it the same way I saw this one, so that they are left and right. And after that, this is what I'm going to have. You can see they're the same thing. There's no difference, just that they are left and right. That's the difference. Okay, the next thing now is my back pocket. From that mark I take, I'm going to fold it. I take a mark here the time I'm cutting it. You can see I'm going to fold it from that mark. Then I'm going to sew my dart. Here should be 1.5 inch. After doing that, folding it. Now the dart should be 3.5 inch. I mean the length of the dart should be 3.5 inches. Okay. Now I'm going to stick it like this. Like this, okay. Now my pocket should be 5.5 inch. Then I'm going to fold it into 2 by 2. Then that center I'm going to place it on that dart. Center of that 5.5 inch, which is 2 3/4. That 5.5 inch, I'm going to mark 5.5 inch. Then I'm going to mark from here also. Now see how I got that. Then draw a line straight. You can see. Now I'm going to start to stitch my back waist, my waist pocket. First of all, I'm going to place my pocketing, fold into 2 here, take a mark also. Then place that mark on that dart so that it will be at the center. You can see how I did that. Then my waist pocket, I fold 1 for each of them. There are 2. I fold 1. I'm going to start from that folding 1 like this. Place it on that line. Make sure that the end is at the line. Then fold like this back. Then I'm going to start from that mark, my chalk. Keep your hand straight. Then stop at the other marking, which is 5.5 inch. You can see. Now I'm going to apply the other one. This one is not fold, this one is straight. So I'm going to place it also at the line. Then I'm going to give a gap of 1/2 inch in the first sewing. 1/2 inch is okay. Then keep your hand straight. Then stop. Make sure that the two sewing are equal, and your beginning and your end of that sewing. Make sure that they are all equal. Can see here I have half inch, and it has also going to be half inch also. Can see half inch and half inch. The sewing. Here's the back, they are equal. Now see, I'm going to cut that. I'm going to cut it from the center like this. Because after watching the video, if you have a question, you have to ask on the comment section. Like I said. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel if you have not done yet. Like and share the video to your friends. You can see I cut that. And I'm going to fold it from the outside to the inside like this. Take your time, don't rush. And here's my pocket, you can see. I'm going to stitch here like this. From that allowance that I cut inside, just stitch here the mouth of the pocket from the inside. You can see. Now I'm going to cut it like this. See, I cut that. Then I'm going to do the same thing also at the other side. The same thing, there's no difference. At the other side. Can see. Now cut it also like I did on the other side. And here's my waist pocket, you can see. Now I'm going to stitch from the A side, the down one like this. See, I stitch that. Now I'm going to fold the pocketing into two to the waist side. Then take a mark on the both side like this. Now after that, I'm going to turn it back like this. I see I turn that. Just watch very carefully. You can see back like this. They're going to stitch from top like here. I'm going to stitch from the top here. Then keep your hand straight down. Then cut it, shape it a little. Also something at the other side. I see. Then shape it a little also. Now after that, I'm going to turn it back to its normal form. Can see. Okay, now I'm going to stitch it again, but I'm going to change my under thread to white before I stitch this one. Change your under thread to white because I'm using white pocketing. Assuming that I'm using black pocketing, I'm going to change the under thread to black. Now I'm going to fold it like this. The pocketing only. Now it's pocketing. So I'm going to do that. Then stitch. Keep your hand straight. Here also, I'm going to fold it also like I did on the other side, like this. And here's my almost done pocket. Now I'm going to shoot this one like this. I mean the waist side, so that it will not squeeze. Then stitch on the pocket seam. I have my pocket. Now I'm going to stitch on top of the waist, on top, like this, from the side like this. Stitch on top, then stitch here also. And here is my back pocket. It's now ready. My back pocket is now ready. You can see, very neat and simple. If you have any question, you have to ask in the comment section, like I said. Now I'm going to stitch fix the other side the same way I fit this one. I'm going to fix the other side the same way I fit this one. There's no difference, just that they are left and right. That's the only difference. You can see, after that, this is what I'm going to have. I now have my back pockets, both of them. That they are something, the self stitching, just that they are left and right. Follow the same method, you get it correctly. Now next thing now I'm going to cut now is my landing. My landing for the front pocket, front pattern I mean to say. You see how I place that? I place it on top. Here I have like 1.5 inch allowance here. Then I'm going to cut it with the shape of my front pattern. Just take a turn down rush. Remember that the pattern is left and right, and also the landing is also going to be left and right. You can see, here's my landing. There are two. They are also left and right like my front pattern. Here's the length. You can use like 14, but 10.5 is okay. Here's my flap landing. You can see. I'm going to show you guys how to fix that, so stay with me that you know how to fix this landing on your flap, and also this one for the both flap. So stay with me, don't go anywhere so that you will not miss it. Now I'm going to fold the down part of my landing like this. See, I fold that. Remember, they are left and right. They are left and right, so be careful so that you will not switch left or right. And after that, I'm going to start to fix it on my front pattern like this. Remember, the folding should be inside. I mean, where you fold should be inside. I mean, on that landing. Just take your time, don't rush. And if you have any questions, like I said before, you have to ask on the comment section. Tell me how you feel about the story after watching the video. Okay, on the waist side, that 1.5 inch, I'm going to fold it like this. The 1.5 inch, you can see how I fold it on the waist side. Then also the same thing, I'm going to do something on the other side. same procedure, and this is what I'm going to have after doing that. You see, next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to fix the zip, place them together like this. You can see how I place them. Then I'm going to measure 6.5 inch for the zip. 6.5 inch is okay for the zip. You can see I take a mark on that 6.5 inch. Now I'm going to place my zip. First of all, you check your zip very well, make sure that it is okay. Now you can see how I place my zip on that mark. The zip stops at that mark. Then stitch it. You can see how I place the zip upside down. Here is the front. Now I'm going to use my flap. Remember, I gum the left hand side, and here is the right side. Then I'm going to stop at that mark also. And this is what I'm going to have on the right side of my pattern. You can see. Now I'm going to fix the left side. You can see how I place it from that mark. Now I'm going to stitch from here. Then I'm going to stop at that mark also, like I did on the other side. Okay, now I'm going to stitch from the front. From the front, I'm going to stitch it. Now I'm going to fold this allowance like this at the flap side. Then hold it properly. Then I'm going to stitch on top of the flap like this. As you can see, here's the back. Now I'm going to place it on top again on the zip side. I'm going to make sure that the two patterns are equal like this. Make sure that they are all equal. Now I'm going to stitch from this hook from the inside here. I'm going to follow from that hook, that zip hook from my zip, but I'm going to stitch inside, not outside. I'm going to stitch inside from that zip hook. Just hold it very well. Just follow the hook, and target the hook like this. Here is where the hook is. You can see. Now I'm going to stitch from here. Now I'm going to stop here, like half inch away. Now I'm going to stitch back again, double stitching, and also stop at that hook, that place that I start. I'm stopping here. Now this is what I'm going to have, something like this. You can see where I start. Next, now I'm going to sew the zip. I'm going to sew on top of the zip now. Like, make sure that the two flaps are equal. Make sure that they are equal. Then stitch on top of the zip. Okay, now I'm done, and I'm done with the zip. And this is what I'm going to have, something of this nature. You can see, here's my zip, very neat and simple. You can see, here's the inside. Okay, now I'm going to fix the back on this front. I'm going to stitch the back on this front. I mean my pattern like this. You can see, find the matching one there too. Like half inch away, half inch allowance, then stitch. Keep your hand straight. Stitch. Just take a turn down rush. Keep your hand very straight. Can see what I'm doing? If you have any question, you're free to ask on the comment section, like I said. Okay, now here is my front and back pattern sew together. Now I'm going to stitch the other side like this also. You can see I have my front and back pattern now. Now I'm going to stitch the other side the same way I stitch this one. And after that, you did open press, and this is what I'm going to have. After that, here is my front and back pattern fixed together with the zip. Now next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to fix the waist. You can see after fixing the front and back pattern, then I'm going to fold it together to mark my waist. You can see fold it together back again like this. You can see I did open press here before you start fixing your waist. Then from the flap here, I'm going to measure my waist measurement from the flap here. Then the formula is your waist by 2. Like my waist is 32, by 2 is 16. Then I mark 16 here, your waist by 2. Just the formula to get all your waist. Then from that marking, I'm going to measure backwards 3 inch backwards and mark it from the inside one like this. You can see. Okay, now from the flap now, I'm going to measure 4 inch. Place very well from this flap here. I'm going to mark 4 inch. Then from that 4 inch to that 2 inch I mark backwards, and then I have by 2. You can see what I have 10 by 2 is 5. And you have, even though you have 30 by 2, you just mark it. Here's my tray belt holder. Now what I will need is 6 belt holders. Then from this tray, I'm going to mark the other side from that tray. Okay, now I'm using the first marking on that pattern to mark the other side. The first marking like these ones, make sure that they are all in line, they are equal. Okay, now I've got my 6 belt holders. What I need is 6, 3 on this side, while 3 on the other side. Here's my belt holders. You can see I have now 6. Now I'm going to sew my belt holder. Here's the back of my fabric. Now I'm going to fold it like this, like ½ inch. It's okay. Now I'm going to shape it a little like this. Remember what I need is 6 belt holders. Now I'm going to turn it. You can use a broom or anything that you can use to turn it like this. Then I'm going to press it with my iron. Press very well. Okay, next thing I need that is my button hook. I'm going to cut another fabric like this. Now I'm going to sew it like this. I'm going to fold it like this. Then stitch. You can see how I fold it. This one is my button hook. Now after that, I'm going to fold it again like this, and also like this. Then stitch the mat just like this. Then stitch it a little. And here's my button hook. You can see. Now I'm going to shape it if it's too long. Here's my button hook. Okay, now after pressing my belt holder, I'm going to cut it into 6 places. Remember what I need is 6 belt holders, so I'm going to cut it into 6 places. You can see. Make sure that they are all equal, like 4½ inch or 5 inch is okay for the length. You can see there are now 6 a number. Now here's my waist. Now I'll start to stitch my waist. Now I'm going to start from the left side of my pattern. Open the zip. Start from the left side. You can see. You can see where I start. Then I'm going to place my waist like this. Make sure that it is equal with the pattern, I mean the waist side. Now I'm going to stop after the flap here. You can see where I marked my chalk. I'm going to stop there, then stitch, cut this one off. Now I'm going to fold it like this. You can see where I stop. I'm going to fold like 2.5 inch or 3 inches, okay, making it 4 inch. I can then fold 2.5 inch for the flap. This one is going to have flap. Then I'm going to start from that place I stopped and stitch again. Now I'm going to place my belt holder on this marking. You can see my chalk. I'm going to place my belt holders there, all of them. If you have a question, you're free to ask on the comment section. You can see I have my waist. You can see. Now I'm going to stitch the belt holders like 1/2 inch away from the waist, like this. Like 1/2 inch away is okay from the waist. You can see, it's very simple. You can see I've gotten my belt holders. They are now okay. Now I'm going to close this place, the opening here. I'm going to fold it like this. You can see how I fold it. Just fold it like this. Then stitch. Don't stitch on the gum, on your waist gum. Shift your hand from your waist gum. You can see. You can see where I stopped. Now I'm going to fix the other side the same way I fixed this one. Now I'm going to start from the back crotch here. Then also fix my belt holders on those marking. Then after that, here I'm going to lock the zip. I'm going to lock the zip and mark it so that the both sides will be equal. Lock the zip like this. Make sure that you lock it very well. Then mark the end with chalk so that the both sides of the zip will be equal. You can see how I marked that. Now I'm going to close the waist from that marking. Just from that marking. Then after that, I'm going to cut the allowance off. You can see. Also this place, I'm going to cut it off. Also going to stick the belt holders like I did on the first side. It's still 1/2 inch away from the waist. You can see. Next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to shape the flap if it's too much. You can see, shape it a little like this. Now here I'm going to fix my button hook. Make sure that it is in line with the zip. You can see. Then stitch like this. Here's my button hook. You can see how I fix that. Then I'm going to shape the flap a lot like this. If your own is too much, then I'm going to turn it with my landing. Remember, I got 2 landing. I'm going to turn it with this one. So this one is my flap landing. Then turn it like this. Then stitch on top of the landing. You can see. And I'm going to fold it like this. Watch how I'm going to fold it like this for my flap. You can see how I fold it. And I'm going to close the flap. I'm not going to stitch on top of my gum. I shift my hand from the gum. Then stitch straight. Make sure that your hand is straight. You can see. Then see how I'm going to cut it, where I start. Now you can leave it like this, but I like to give it an arrow shape. Arrow shape like this. I mean the mouth of the flap. You can see how I stitch that. Can see I've gotten my flap. Next thing now is the right one. Now I'm going to place it on top like this. Make sure that it covers the zip. See how I place it. Then stitch thread. Then shape it, shape the allowance. I see. Now I'm going to close the back crotch, I mean the back waist, like this. Now I'm going to make sure that the both sides are equal, both the waist, the both side, everywhere is equal. Can see. You can see the waist, they are all equal. They're going to stitch it from that my first marking, that place that I mark first, which is my waist. You can see how I cut my hand inside. And I'm going to stitch it again, double stitching, and I'm going to stitch it on top of that first stitching. Yeah, you have to take your time. Now I'm stitching on that first stitching, coming back again, my waist. Check your time, don't rush. Then come back to your full waist. Now see what I have. You can see my waist. They are all equal, very equal. Now I'm going to close the mouth. Remember my mouth is 13. 13 by 2 is 6.5. Now I'm going to close by 6.5. I'm going to measure 6.5 here. You can see my mouth is 13. Then if you follow this method, just from that 6.5, just sew straight to the crotch. You don't have to measure the knee or the laps again. What you do is to maintain that allowance. Keep your hand straight from the mouth to the crotch, just like this. Can see how I'm doing it. Then stop here. Then I'm going to do the same thing to this one also. And I'm going to do the same thing here. The same measurement, 6.5, which is 13. Then maintain that allowance. Keep your hand straight, like this. Then I'm going to stop here also on the crotch side, at that crotch side. Okay, now I'm going to do here hand open like this. You can see what I'm doing. Hand open here, and also this plate also. Then I'm going to stitch straight like this. Keep your hand straight. Here's my crotch, you can see. Straight here. You can see how straight it is here. You can see. Now next thing I'm going to do now, I'm going to fix the waistband. Okay, now I'm going to use a black thread to fix my waistband. So the up thread should be black, because my waistband is black. My waistband is black. So the thread should be black. The up thread. Now this is how I'm going to place my waistband, like this. From this line, I'm going to shift my hand a little from that line. Then I'm going to stitch from here. Now I'm going to place this potato like this. Then I'm going to use my waistband to cover it. You can see how I do that. And this is how I'm going to do all of them. Place one like this. Then use my waistband to cover it also. The same thing. Then at this back crotch, I'm going to do it hand open also. Here, the back, I'm going to do it hand open like this. You can see the back crotch. Now I'm going to do this, start sewing again. Just same thing from the left to the right side of my waist. Very simple. Please, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification button so that you'll be notified when I upload a new video. Okay, here you can see how I play this one. I covered the zip with this landing. Then so. Then I'm going to stop somewhere like this. I see where I stop. Then I'm going to slant my stitching like this. I see. Then cut it off. Now if I turn it, this is what I'm going to have. Something like this, of this shape. I can see the shape. Okay, now I'm going to turn the waistband. I'm going to turn the waistband like this. Then turn my flap, the waist flap like this. You can see. Then I'm going to use my scissors to stretch it very well. Stretch it very well with my scissors. You can see the shape. Here's my shape of my flap. See. Now next I'm going to sew now is my flap line. My zip flap line, like this. Now I'm going to start from like 1.5 inch away from the flap. Then I'm going to sew straight. Keep your hand straight. Then after the zip opening, like that hook, I'm going to curve it like this. Make sure that the other flap is free. After here, I'm going to curve it like this. And here's my flap. Can see. Now that's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to close the waistband. Also, I'm going to change the damp part of my thread to black because my waistband is black. And I'm going to use black thread to stitch the back of my waistband. Now I'm going to stitch here like this, then stitch down like this. Can see. Now I'm going to close the waistband. Now I'm going to stitch from that joining of my waist. From the joining of my waist, that line is where I'm going to start to stitch from here. Can see. Then place the allowance inside the waistband. I mean the back allowance inside the waistband, so that it will not show outside. So take your time, don't rush, and ask questions if you have any question. Can see how I'm doing that. Maintain your stitching. Take your time, don't rush. Please subscribe to my channel if you have not done yet, so that you'll be notified when I will upload a new video. Okay, now I'm going to make sure that the landing is the last. I mean the flap landing. The last flap landing is the last before I stitch. Now I'm going to stop at that zip. I see where I stop. Then I'm going to stitch down. I'm not stitching on the zip. I'm stitching on the fabric, not on the zip. Just take it and don't rush. Then stitch. Okay, now this is what I'm going to have. You can see the back work of my trouser. You can see the back work, very neat. You can see what I have here, very neat and simple. Now I'm going to close the landing like this. Now I'm going to stitch. You can see how I fold that. I'm almost done. Then after that, I'm going to shape this place like this. The allowance, I'm going to shape it like this. And this is the shape of my back landing, the flap landing I can see. Now I'm going to fold it like this. Then cut it if it is too much. Now I'm going to fold it like this. Now I'm going to stitch it on the crotch here. Make sure that landing is free. You see, here is free. And I'm going to stitch it like this. Okay, now this is what I'm going to have. You can see how I stitch it. Here is free. Here's my back work, very neat and simple. Then cut off all thread, check your work very well. Here's my back work, the inner work. You can see how it is. Here, now this is my front work. That's what I'm going to do now. I'm going to press it very well. Now after pressing, I'm going to turn that 3-inch allowance inside and tack it. That 3 inch that I add on the length, then tack it, do it hand tacking, and this is what I'm going to have. After doing that, I put that 3-inch allowance on the length, and here's my work, very neat and simple. You can see. After pressing it, press it very well. Sorry, I did not show you guys how to press it because the video have taken a long time. I'm just trying to minimize the time. That's why I did not show you guys how to press it, but I promise you guys I will show you guys how to press a trouser on my next video. So this is my work after pressing it. Here's my trouser. Please, like I said before, if you have any questions, you are free to ask on the comment section. Tell me how you feel. Please, if you're not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe and turn on the notification button so that you'll be notified when I will upload a new video. Like I have more of this tutorial to teach you guys. Please subscribe and turn on the notification button so that you'll be notified when I will upload a new video. Here's my work. Please tell me how you feel on the comment section. Okay, now that 3-inch that I add on the left side, the time I was cutting it, I put it inside and do it hand tacking. You can see, I put it inside that 3-inch and do it hand tacking. And this is what I have. Here's my back work, very neat and simple. Okay, now for now, I'll stop here for now, and I would like to see you guys on my next video.